Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I appreciate everybody who is here and anyone who has been here early. Also, if you end up watching this on the replay, I appreciate you guys. I hope everybody has had a good Friday so far. I'm going to go ahead and start by saying hi to everybody who is here. So let me grab the chat really quick. Hey, Angela. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Beauty Demon. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Melissa. Hey, E. How are you all doing? I hope everybody is having a good day so far. I have been extremely busy today. That's why I ended up pushing this back a little bit later than I thought I was going to have it. I also want to go ahead and say it is extremely windy here, and I film at the front of one of my rooms. So if you guys hear blustering wind, I apologize. I can hear it sitting in here, and I don't know if the audio will pick up on it or not. So I just wanted to give that little caveat if you guys hear it. Hey, Susan. It's Friday, so that's already a huge plus. I definitely get that. I don't think we have any plans for this weekend, so that'll be, we'll see if we come up with any. I'm kind of reserving a lot of my energy. My mom, as most of you guys know, is supposed to be coming to visit, so we have a really fun girl trip planned, and I'm super excited about that. So I'm trying to pent up all my energy for that, even though it's a couple of weeks away. Hey, Beauty Demon, 30 minutes and tomorrow we'll arrive. I forget, some of you guys are overseas and already are into Saturday and into your weekend. I hope you guys who are in those time zones are having a good start to your weekend. Hey, Claire, good to see you. So this will be the second time that I do one of these weekly recaps, and I'm still just trying to figure out if this is fun content or content you guys enjoy or not. There's been a lot of YouTube stuff occurring. Some of it I've covered, some I haven't because I decided I wasn't going to cover it anymore. And I'm going to fair warn everybody, I'm in a little bit of a sassy mood today, so I would not be surprised if on some of these topics I end up in a little bit of a rant. I'm going to try my best to contain myself, but I'm just fair warning. Sometimes when I get into my rants, I do curse a little bit. So if that's going to offend you, I'm just letting you know now. Hey, World Puzzler Specialist, how are you doing? I'm also drinking some tea, so that's always nice, and hopefully the dogs don't bother us too much. I have my door open since it's just me home, and they keep coming in here, so hopefully they don't mess with the backdrop or anything like that. I don't even know where to start, to be 100% honest, with everything that's been going on. I guess we can kind of start with, we talked a little bit last week about the video I was going to do on the phillippis, and that went out yesterday. It took me clearly a good while to be able to sit down and collect my thoughts and really get everything out. And I did withhold some opinions, but I wanted to go about that video a little bit differently due to the difference of the situation. With the Stauffer situation, when that happened, I went very emotional and all in on those videos. And for this one, it is a different situation, and I did want to look at it a little bit differently. So I really took a step back and really formed my thoughts and opinions before I filmed that video. I will say I do have a video coming out. It'll probably be on Tuesday. I'm going to film it either today or tomorrow to go out next week because I don't really upload on weekends. Occasionally I will, but typically I don't. Talking about a situation that was brought up to me, and this is something that happened a few years ago, but it does tie into a lot of the concerns that I have talked about and that other creators have talked about when it comes to family vlogging. And unfortunately, this was a really horrific situation that did play out here on YouTube and on like real world media about 2 years ago, and some newscasts are picking the story back up and talking about it again, and that's how it got sent to me, and I really want to talk about it. So that's probably going to be a pretty touchy topic for some people, but it kind of goes in line with family vlogging and some of the critiques that I have given and other creators have given on family vloggers, so keep an eye out for that. You think it was bound to take longer or be harder to film due to the subject matter? It's not so much the subject matter that is hard for me to talk about. I can pretty openly talk about adoption and foster care and stuff like that. I always take a minute though to decide if I'm going to come from it from more of a personal stance or a professional or a mixture of both. And for that one, I really wanted to kind of come at it with both and have my thoughts be really formed. So that's kind of where I went with that video. When I did the Stoffers, some of my videos were more emotionally and personally based, and other videos that I made, because I made several, were more from a professional point of view and my opinions related to my previous experience professionally. So this one I wanted to kind of mix it all together, and I wanted it to kind of jive well. So you guys, if you've seen that video, you know the result of it. Hey Xylee, what about the Stoffers? Hey Tutu Queen, good to see you. I'm not sure if I know what you mean by the Stoffers question mark. The chat is not working on my StreamYards for some reason. It's only working on YouTube, which is fine. There's usually just a little bit of a delay. So I also am going to apologize. I know people get frustrated when creators play with their hair. My hair is at a very awkward length right now, and I can't help but to like flick it and mess with it because it's at an annoying stage. I'm probably just going to grow it back out. I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to get it cut again. You were asking who you were talking about. So what I'm talking about is a channel that no longer exists. They were called the Fantastic Adventures, and if you look on YouTube and you look that up, you'll find videos, some current videos from a news station that's currently covering them again, and you'll also find videos from 2 years ago when all of this kind of broke. So if you want to do some back research and look at that kind of stuff to kind of know, be warned, it has to do with people getting arrested for maltreating children. So it is going to be one of those kinds of videos. The wind is crazy. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy today. It's been like that for a while. No, I know Daddy 05 has been a controversial one too. I haven't ever actually gone totally down that rabbit hole, but I have gone down this rabbit hole, and I'm going to do a video on it. So that's kind of where I'm at. I appreciate the person who sent that to me because they did want me to make, I think their intention was for me to make a video, because when she sent it, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I might make a video on it. And their response kind of alluded like that's kind of why they sent it to me. So I appreciate that. Whenever you guys see something and you want to see if I have an opinion on it, I appreciate all of that. Hey, Leanne. Thank you guys for the compliments. My hair's to a point where I have to straighten it, and that's annoying. Otherwise, it's all over the place. And I don't like to blow dry my hair because then it gets super staticky. So I typically just let it air dry, and then I straighten the ends. And then I used the Natasha Denona Glam Palette again for my makeup today. You don't know why people get irritated about creators touching their hair. You're 3 months into growing out a pixie cut. I think it's just distracting for some people when creators move their hands around a lot and play with their hair. I think it can just be distracting. I don't always think that those comments are coming from a bad place, and I don't really get very many of them, but occasionally I do. So we kind of talked about the phillippis. I'm trying to think. I I can't even remember. I talked about a couple of other things this week, and I can't even remember what I have put out and what is waiting to go out. So let me triple check. I've kind of done a couple of videos, a couple of different like car videos, which I just talk about random things, random thoughts, things that I see going on the platform. I talked about entitlement this week and what entitlement kind of looks like with creators. And we talked about the James Charles stuff last week. I mean, that's always something that's happening. There's always developments with him. He's someone that I'm not going to necessarily totally keep track of and continue to make content about unless it's something like the few larger issues that I have seen where I'll talk about it. So we did have a couple. My dog is shedding, so I also have dog hair all over the place. So we have a couple of different other situations that I have made videos about and a couple that I haven't. One of those being the msashycat stuff that's ever evolving, and it's getting to a very, very, very scary place. And every time I see something, it's getting worse and worse. And at this point, I think there's nothing much of us can do. Allegedly, I saw a clip today where allegedly she got kicked from the creator fund on TikTok. So if that's the case, I mean, at least it's a step in the right direction. Who knows? I mean, that whole stuff is just so scary, and it's so hard to talk about it and not address all aspects of it. And I see some creators, I think, are doing a really good job about it and like just having open discussions. And then I see a couple of other creators that are really just exploiting the situation. And that is super frustrating. It's super frustrating from someone who, and I'm not trying to say like I'm picture perfect. I'm not even comparing them to me. I'm more or less comparing them to other creators that I see covering it, and in my opinion are doing a very good job about addressing the behaviors, addressing the situation, and trying to provide some kind of awareness or advocacy to it. But on the other hand, there have been some creators making accounts, like making YouTube accounts literally just to restream her content. And on some of these people who are creating their channels to do this are mocking her, are making fun of what's actually happening, and are doing like that is super malice. You cannot tell me and hide it in a facade that you're trying to just allow people to view it without giving her the money. You're doing it because either you want the subscribers and you want the money, or, which I think is part of the equation no matter what, when you are covering such a sensitive topic and you're making fun of them and you're mocking them and you're laughing when serious health issues could be occurring and you're finding it funny. I'm sorry, I just don't understand how people are thinking that's okay. And there's a lot of people who I don't think are fully aware that this is happening. And some people don't realize what the intent is, and they're just thinking that this person or these people, because there's a couple of channels actually, thinking that they're doing it for a good reason, and it's not a good reason. If you have to make fun of her and mock her, if your commentary is not at least respectful, you have to understand that you are proving her right when you are doing these things. Because you are trolling her at that point. You are harassing her. You are using her at that point. You're exploiting her situation at that point. which does give her validity in saying the trolls, the trolls, the trolls. There are people who are trolling her. There are people who are restreaming her and trolling her on a live stream, and people are thinking there's nothing wrong with that. I disagree. I do disagree. And if you want to say that that's me gatekeeping, well, I will just take the hit and allow people to think that I'm trying to gatekeep. Sorry, I just wanted to get my thoughts out, so I'm going to go back and, hey, Jersey Jojo, good to see you. I hope you're doing good. Melissa, the Creator Fund is like being paid on YouTube. For TikTok, you have to, their parameters are different, but you have to reach certain parameters to be able to get paid. And then just like YouTube, you can lose monetization. Allegedly, I saw a clip where she said she got kicked out. I don't know if that's true. Sometimes she does lie. I mean, that's true. She does lie. She is nasty. She does say terrible, disgusting things. She does threaten people. She does dox people. She does engage in really problematic issues. But my concern comes when these channels are doing this. My concern comes when they're making fun of her and when they are not fully understanding the situation, or they claim that they are, but they're not actually addressing the issue or why she acts the way she does. You can really tell who cares, who are just doing it for views. Yeah, I think a lot of people can, but I do think that there's some people who don't, because some of these creators are masking themselves as advocates, are masking themselves as, you know, saying that they're coming from a good place because they don't want her to have the money. Which, I mean, we've all kind of hoped to a degree, but at the end of the day, like, she still has a platform, and until YouTube demonetizes her, which probably isn't going to happen, like I said, like, I know that's it's unfortunate we feel like our hands are tied with that. They kind of are. After 8 months without a haircut, your hair looked like a wig. It was cut asymmetric with a short side in. You have a friend who has a lot of TikTok followers, and they say the Creator Fund pays like pennies for the views. I don't know what the Creator Fund actually looks like. Hey, Sue. Hey, Britt. Good to see you guys. Hey, Christophan. Hey, Tamra. Hey, Miss Cassandra. How are you? Hey, Kazoodles. Hi, everyone. I think I missed some parts in the chat. I'm trying to find it. Hey, Rarely Care. You think it's fine to seriously address the issue, but to turn it into a situation where you invite others to watch? Yeah, and that's kind of where my concern lies, especially if creators are veiling it as they are trying to, that they have good intentions, but what they're showing, their delivery, so to speak, says something different. Like, their actions are showing that they're exploiting her and making fun of her. I just morally and ethically have an issue with someone making fun of another individual who's clearly struggling and is in active addiction, and you're not willing, or they aren't really addressing the actual issue and why she behaves this way. Yes, we can call out the bad behavior. It should be called out. But I also think there should be a caveat of respect where you at least inform your audience why this is happening. And I understand it's the elephant in the room, but some people don't. Some people are literally naive and do not understand what is happening. Hey, Beefy. Yeah, I understand, like, some people are restreaming the lives to prevent her from getting views. And I understand the aspect of restreaming for that purpose. And, you know, I'm not trying to gatekeep. Like, I think that I understand that and I support that. The issue I have is when they're laughing and making fun of her and mocking her behavior and not addressing why the behavior is the way it is. It's very nasty behavior, in my opinion, to make fun of somebody in that kind of situation or that kind of state. Aline, I haven't heard of anything, so I'm not sure who you're referring to. I'm not opposed to having the conversation, but I don't want to disrupt the chat right now. When we get to the end, you are more than welcome. If you stay around once we get through all the topics, I will ask you what's going on. I appreciate you not wanting to disrupt the chat. I absolutely want to talk about it. I'm not sure. I think I'm late on knowing what's happening, but I'm okay with talking about it. But I want to kind of get through the bulk of what's going on first, like our topics, because it sounds like it's something serious. And I don't want to go from us just talking about YouTube drama to talking about something super serious before we can kind of have our open chat, if that makes sense. I don't mean for that to be, I hope that's not off-putting to anybody. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I'm not aware. I haven't gotten any messages, but that doesn't mean anything. So I'm usually last to know what's going on in the community. So that's okay. I'm not upset about that. I'm not sure what you're referring to. So we will talk. I will let you announce what information you have here in a little bit. So you're really concerned now and afraid for who it is. Yeah. Well, Ninja Girl, there's a couple of other things that I wanted to kind of go talk about, and then we can see what what information Aline has. Hey, the dark magician, every time. I hope that doesn't offend you that every time I almost call you the wrong name. It also gives people who aren't up to that sort of convo to prepare or take off first. Yeah, that too. So to get back on track, another drama. Oh, hang on. So that brings you to your next question. How can you bully someone when they don't know what's going on? I mean, honestly, if people are constantly blocked and messages being deleted. I mean, she definitely is getting bullied. People who make videos or who are restreaming and mocking her and making fun of how she looks and how she's acting, that's a form of bullying. It really is. Now, whatever your personal stance is on that is something entirely different, but she definitely has been bullied. I've seen channels bullying her when they're restreaming her. I've seen channels, TikToks, etc., bullying her for her behavior. Is it acceptable? No, I don't think it's acceptable the way that Ashley acts. Absolutely, especially to paying customers. It's deplorable behavior, but I understand why she is behaving that way. Mocking her and calling her to react live. Yeah, I agree, Sue. There are some channels that are definitely engaging in bullying behavior. I'm not saying they all are, or anybody who makes content on her are, but there has definitely been some situations where I have actually seen people bullying her and people exploiting her and taking advantage of the situation. I've been in a private watch party where we laugh. Yeah, I think personally, I think that is bullying if you're watching her and you're laughing at her, because it really is getting to a point where it's a life or death situation. And personally, I don't think it's funny. Even when she acts out and throws a temper tantrum, I don't think it's funny because it's her addiction showing. And that's my opinion. You're welcome to have your opinion, but that is my personal stance on it. That's when I do believe it does become bullying. Hey, Jean, good to see you. You're not sure what's funny about it. And I'm on that same stance, is that I don't understand how people, and maybe it's just me, because clearly plenty of people are engaging in it, but I don't understand how, someone's in active addiction. Yes, they're behaving disgustingly, but it is because of their addiction that they are behaving that way. And we see, whether you're watching her or you're watching replays or whatever, you see how bad it is getting. She is really getting to a very, very, very scary, very bad place. To think that that's funny is absolutely disgusting to me. To sit there and mock her and make fun of her is absolutely disgusting. That is my opinion. Okay, I see what you're saying, Beefy. And I can agree to that to some degree. Some people are just addressing the behavior and talking about it and aren't bullying her. But there are some that are masking it. And that's kind of where I'm like, I question them a little bit. We must not talk about who I thought we were. My apologies. I never laughed at that. Okay, Ninja. I think I misunderstood what you were trying to say, Ninja Girl. I didn't mean that to come just at you. I hope you didn't mean it in that way. There's a lot of people that I see trying to defend people who are laughing and mocking her. And I just don't think that you really can defend that kind of behavior, honestly. Like, that's just my opinion. Thank you, Pippi Longstocking. No, Ninja, I misread your comment. You don't have to go. But you bring up a valid point, although it was my misreading that caused that to happen. There are people who do defend that kind of stuff, and I just don't understand how how people are able to do that. So you actually allowed a conversation and me to voice some of my opinions that I probably wouldn't have. It wasn't directed at you at all. It was directed about people laughing at her and people trying to defend people who are exploiting the situation. Yeah, Cheryl, a lot of people are within that same sentiment, myself included. She thought we were talking about, I am going to actually talk about her here in a few minutes. I'm not going to make a video. I'm holding myself to that. I'm not going to make a video, but some of the stuff that she's actively doing right now, frustrated by. Do with others inactive or struggling with mental health. Yeah, it's sad. So, speaking of the one person who I haven't talked about in a while now, most of you guys know whenever I made my last video about it that I wasn't going to engage with any content or anything like that related to Katie. And I really don't. There's a select few creators that I still watch regularly. One of them is Renelle. And some of her videos that she has done, especially where she had to address a comment or she felt, which was a good educational point for her to address the comment that she got. So I watched that and I was already like, are you kidding me? Like, already feeling a certain kind of way. And then I start seeing some stuff about what she did to this other creator, the Preacher Boys. To say that I was livid is an understatement. I have literally retracted from watching almost everybody but Renelle and a few other people, and I haven't been keeping up with her because I know for me, she's somebody that whenever she does something outwardly disgusting, which let's be honest, in my personal opinion, it happens almost daily. And I don't want to continue to make videos about her. So I'm going to allow myself to rant about it with you guys here on this live stream. And hopefully that will cleanse my feelings of everything that is going on. I agree. Renelle has so much dignity. I actually found Renelle before she started covering Katie. I found Renelle last year sometime when we were both relatively small channels, and we both talked about Rich Lux, Nick Snyder, and Dustin Daly and Luscious and things that were going on within their friendship and how they were behaving. We both had made commentary, and her video was recommended, and her sentiment was very much like mine. No, Katie wasn't the one who called her a racial slur. It was one of her followers. But based off of how Renelle explained it, because she didn't want to air out this person, which I actually appreciate, shows a level of professionalism that Katie Joy can't even touch with a 10-foot rod. She made it seem like this individual has left very critical, nasty comments against her content on Katie. And to be honest, I think Renelle, sorry, the dogs are in here, so this is going to move. I think she calls Katie's behavior out, in my opinion, in a very fair way. And she addresses it, and she allows for a conversation to be had. So I really do respect Renelle and how she's gone about it. And the fact that she has had to deal with comments like that in support of Katie. Of course, it's not Katie's fault that somebody who supports her is going to go around and say those kinds of things. But it does speak to the kind of diehard fans that she has that she claims she doesn't. I have received messages very similar, not racially, but I have seen some very gross messages towards me on some of the Katie videos I've done. And Renelle's a stronger person than me in the sense that she won't block them. After you leave about 2 or 3 gross messages, I will block you. And I'm not going to feel bad about it because that's a boundary that I have. For her to have the professionalism and the maturity to say, I'm not going to block you because you need to vent it somewhere, is so respectable. And we absolutely know, I admitted I don't do that, but we absolutely know Katie doesn't do that. I mean, probably almost everybody in this chat is blocked by her on Twitter. Whether you have ever engaged with her on Twitter or not, if you engage with someone else who's been blocked, you're likely to end up on that block list. I am curious as to how long her block lists on YouTube and on Twitter are. She had a strong moral compass and only posts when she has something to say. Yeah, I agree, Ninja Girl. She really does. She's not somebody who's nitpicking every move that Katie does. She is taking the bigger issues, the bigger picture issues, and she's talking about it. And I appreciate that she's doing it because it's made me feel even better about stepping back, because the way she delivers her content is really respectable. She includes clips, whereas I never did or rarely did. There's been a few videos I just really enjoy how she manufactures her content and how the delivery is, and her actual commentary alongside it is top notch, in my opinion. Hey, Scumps. You became aware of her a week or 2 ago and have been navigating through a few channels that discuss /restream her. Obviously, it's not everyone, but some people really go really low. Yeah, I agree, Scumps. It's good to see you. You think that Katie is the absolute worst, horrible. Yeah, how she behaved with the preacher boys stuff. I'm not fully aware of everything and the ins and outs of everything that happened because, again, I haven't been following her, but I have seen the re-uploads of clips where they had this really positive experience, and then I saw people reposting a comment that he made publicly stating he hadn't done his research and he holds himself accountable to that, but moving forward, he doesn't intend to collaborate with Katie, which is a respectable thing to do to his audience, especially because I can't imagine, I'm sure he was flooded with people saying, hey, be careful, hey, watch your back. There's nothing wrong with that. And he took it upon himself to do the research, and he came to the conclusion that he didn't want to continue to collaborate with her. And she has thrown a hissy fit, and she has decided to say he is terrible things, that he's this nasty guy. That makes me question you. That makes me question her even more, because either A, you didn't do your research when you first put him on your platform and introduced him to your people, or B, it wasn't a freaking issue until he decided to publicly say he didn't want to support you anymore. And I understand he showed his text messages with her, and the text messages revealed that it wasn't how she was putting it out, which I can 100% understand because I had a similar experience with her. And it's just really disgusting that she is okay with putting down another channel or another person on a platform because it made her look bad, because of her poor behavior. Maybe if you hadn't engaged in shit-like behavior, if you were actually the freaking advocate you claim to be, he would want to collab with you. Reality is you're no advocate for anybody but yourself, in my opinion, and your wallet. So you use and belittle and diminish almost any community that you come into contact with. It's mind-boggling. It is absolutely mind-boggling that, am I surprised that she's done this? No, because this is her pattern of behavior. This is how she operates. She wants drama because drama results in views. It results in people making content on her, which results in people being curious if they hadn't heard about her and going and looking at her content. And then if they happen to see something that they like or hear something that they like, she's gaining a subscriber or two. I mean, it's just the revolving cycle of her channel. You were blocked during the first tirade before the Tati stuff. You've been blocked for a long time. I got blocked because I commented on someone else's tweet being critical of her. She wasn't even tagged in it. So to me, that says that Katie needs to honestly put in some boundaries, because if you are going to people, Twitter pages or whatever, of people who you know who don't like you and who maybe are criticizing you or even on the worst end talking shit about you, why are you putting yourself through going to look at that just to block further people who may be critical of you? That is not healthy. That's not healthy at all. As creators, we all kind of fall victim's not the right word. Do we all make the decision to watch content made on us or people that we know because we're curious what people have to say, even if it's bad? Yeah, we all do that. Anybody who says that they don't watch content on them is lying. Because you do. We're curious. We want to know where the criticism are. We want to know if there is legitimate criticism in the video or if it's somebody who just doesn't like you and wants to make content on you. I mean, either way, you get curious and you want to know. You're just catching bits on Twitter and on EKC People's channel. You were blocked when you first joined Twitter. Told her she was lying. She doesn't like to be told or called out on her bad behavior. She blocked you when you never followed her or tweeted directly. Yeah, that's kind of what happened with me. she's out of control with everything on the Duggars. See, and I don't even know everything that she's done with the Duggar stuff. I know about Josh Duggar and his arrest, but aside from that, I don't watch her content. Preacher boys are actually trying to help people who are leaving the cult. Now Katie is calling them terrible things. She is hurting, but I mean, what else is new though? I mean, she's always done that. That's not new behavior from her. And it's just what's shitty is people who have made content and like tried to make people aware, whether it's content on YouTube, on Twitter, on the Reddit, wherever it is. What people who like Katie don't understand is this community has started and exists because of this cycle of behavior she has. It is not to make her look bad per se. It's more or less as a warning to people like, hey, this is the kind of problematic stuff she does and problematic stuff that she engages in and how she does her content and how she treats her subscribers. That's the only, like, the majority reason on why I believe this community has even started and has flourished, because she continues to do this cycle where she burns people out. She treats people like crap. And then they're like, oh man, I'm going to go check out that Reddit that she talked about. And then they go check the Reddit and they see something that was very similar to a situation that they had with her. And then they're like, man, so they go down the rabbit hole and they realize all of this crappy behavior that she has been engaging in. The dude is not, I haven't actually watched any of his content. I'm not going to lie. And a lot of that is because I don't have interest in the Duggars or in the cult or in that religion. There is so much when it comes to religion that is so confusing to me. And I'm the kind of person that if I want to know about something, I want to know the ins and outs. And when it comes to religions like that, and if you want to call it a cult like that, it is hard to navigate, to fully understand, and that just frustrates me. I feel like I would be down a rabbit hole for centuries trying to understand that religion. You're so angry that she's harming people who offered help to those who desperately need it. Yeah, that's what made me extremely mad before when I made my last video about advocacy, just because I was having people, which I appreciated the people, because some of them I didn't understand where she was hurting those communities. But I honestly, in my opinion, I'm going to be careful about how I say this. In my opinion, I do not know of any community that she has talked about that she hasn't caused harm in. I mean, she is acting and portraying that she's a journalist. It's always whatever suits her narrative and makes her look good at the time. She was a journalist when she first started talking about Tati. Then the lawsuit happened and she was not a journalist. She never claimed she was. And then now, because she wants to be included in all of this stuff going on with the Duggars situation and other like larger media stories, she is a journalist again, and she's a part of media again. You were blocked before Tati stuff too. Hey, Heidi. She blocked you for saying something nice about Emily. I mean, her vendetta against Emily is, in my opinion, it's pure jealousy. There's nothing else that and I think maybe part of it is her feelings are hurt. But I think the majority of her vendetta has a massive portion of jealousy when it comes to Emily. And I think a little bit of it is that her feelings are hurt. I'm pretty far behind in the chat. Sorry if you guys start to hear my dog snoring. Preacher Boy was very much upfront and totally exposed what was going on behind the scenes. Hey, Wind Whispers, how are you? Yeah, I've seen somewhere where someone was talking about her posting the 911 call. Did she? And this is a genuine question because I don't know. Did she dox that family by showing their picture, or was it already known? Also, claiming your media to get access to stuff like that is really unethical when you're just wanting to talk about it on your channel as a gossiping session. And the fact, like, you know their information now. You know that person's information. What's crazy is that the Reddit was before anyone was making videos. Yeah, I bet that's true. I've said before, I really don't know how to navigate the Reddit, so I've tried. I don't know how to navigate it. Oh, you saw the dog? Yeah, he kind of peeks his head in sometimes. The way she handled the interview with him was terrible anyways. I think he was trying not to be rude, but he knew he wanted out of there, so she should take responsibility. I didn't actually watch the interview. Some of us are aware of these extreme religions and the people in them. It's a whole big thing. There are some good channels that cover it all but don't want to promote. You can promote other people in my life. I'm not weird about stuff like that. Yeah, I know, E. I saw somebody had taken a picture of her Twitter where she put at the bottom that she's not an advocate. I'm sorry, since when do you claim you're not an advocate? Because in every video where you've talked about rain, in every video where you've talked about SA, in every video where you have asked people to tell you their stories, you claim that you're wanting to be their voice for them. That is an advocate. Trying to reduce stigma and to act on the better behalf of someone else and get their story out there in a positive way is what an advocate does. Have you ever actually engaged in advocacy type behavior? In my opinion, no. Hey, Amy. Thank you for the super chat. You were a part of the Independent Fundamental Baptist Church for over 10 years. You had to move across the other side of the country to see the light. She needs to have compassion for these people. I'm glad you have been able to do what you felt was best for you and that you are in a, I'm assuming, better place. I absolutely agree. When you are talking about communities like the religion community, like the autism community, substance abuse community, the adoption community, those are very, very triggering topics. And I feel like they need to be handled and discussed in a respectable way. Can you call out the issues and the problems within agencies and within societies towards these communities? Yes, you absolutely can. But you also need to be educating and informing your audience. Just sitting on a channel and talking shit, in my opinion, is not advocacy work. No matter the religion, whether you agree or not, you should always be respectful. I agree. Like when you cover anything, and that's kind of what I was saying about the msashycat stuff, when you cover any kind of topic that has a very dark side to it, you need to, in my opinion, come with a level of respect. Even if you absolutely hate it, even if your personal opinions are super biased one way, if you're going to report on it, if you're going to do videos on it, please be respectful, because you don't ever know who's watching your content. You don't ever know what state of mind somebody is in when they are watching your content. Somebody could be in a very low place, and one of the only things that keeps them above float is being a part of the recovery community. This is just an example. Being a part of the recovery community, and a creator that you really like and you like all of their content makes a video demonizing people in recovery and how people recover. That could be the last thing for that person. That could be the last straw. That is why I try to always come very level-headed as much as I can when I'm talking about things. And I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I haven't messed up. I mean, we've all seen me on live streams get upset and start being very loud about things that I'm passionate about. And that's because things have affected me and how she has covered them in communities that I am a part of. And I wanted to be the voice, not only for myself, but for anyone else in the communities that I am a part of to be heard. And I definitely understand in doing that video, that live stream, people who were hurt in other communities felt the same way. When you are a creator, and I don't care how big your freaking platform is, if you have so many people who are saying that you have hurt them, that you have caused hurt to them, whether it's emotional hurt or mental health hurt, I would think if you cared about the people who watch you, you would try to change how you do stuff. Unfortunately, if she were to change how she did stuff, people wouldn't continue to make content on her. And I honestly have said since the beginning, I think part of the reason why her channel is so successful is because of this cycle that she has, where she will flush out people because people catch on to her bad behavior, and then someone comes across a video, and then new people come in, and she continues to snowball and continues to grow. Also, some of the topics she chooses to talk about are topics that not a lot of people cover, and they want somewhere to talk about it. She expects to be treated with kid gloves while she stomps through the most delicate situations. That is a very awesome way to articulate it. I agree, Ninja. Bye, Xylee. It's 100% okay with being respectful about people you cover. What's not okay is looking past the things they do only as a result of their addiction. Yeah, I can understand that. It's just so frustrating that, hey, Chloe, it's just so frustrating. I mean, that's where my emotion always ends up. I end up frustrated. I end up mad. I don't really get upset anymore, but I get extremely frustrated. And just like the thought that comes to my head is, what the hell? What the hell are you thinking? What is going through your mind? Like, are you literally this? My question to her, because she wants to talk about how all these people in these religions are brainwashed. My question to her is, are you brainwashed into how you cover stuff? Are you literally, like, we know she's not self-aware. We know all of that clearly. But have you brainwashed yourself into thinking some of the things that you do is okay, and that it's good, and that you're doing good for other people? Like, seriously, that's a question I have started to ask myself. Does she genuinely believe the stuff that she is putting out? And that's why she defends herself so headfast, and why she can't see that not everybody is just making videos on her to make videos on her. Some people are making videos on her because they want people to have that warning, because they want to shed light on the bad behavior that she does and then deletes or tries to disguise or tries to put on other people. There's no way we can stop her. I mean, that's the truth. The only way for her to not do what she's doing is if people were to stop watching and stop engaging. But there's so many people who engage with her content because they're curious as to how she's going to mess up or how she's going to hurt somebody else. They're curious just to watch because it's something new every day. And then there are the people who genuinely do enjoy her content. I mean, that's we can't lie about that and say that those people don't exist. Clearly they do. Clearly they exist to the extent that they're going to go to another creator's channel and leave a racial slur, trying to hurt that creator's heart, trying to hurt that creator's confidence in who they are and how they have gotten to where they have and the life that they have. The life that they have formed for themselves. It is so off on people that when creators show their lifestyle or talk about their lives, they just assume that everything was handed to them on a silver platter. And that's not the case for, I think for most creators, that's not the case. One fine day karma will come. I mean, definitely, I am somebody who does believe in karma and things happen for a reason. Who knows if we'll see it? Who knows what'll happen? I just don't understand how she's comfortable in herself to do everything that she does. People watch her to see what she's going to say. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Like, people watch her just because they want to watch to know how they can criticize her next, what they catch her lying about next, what they catch her, which to some degree, I hope people, I mean, I appreciate the individuals who have done that, because at times it's been easy to find parts to talk about when I was covering her and find clips and stuff like that. But I hope everybody who does engage in watching her and clearly they don't like her and they want her to be held accountable to whatever, I hope that they do check themselves and that they make sure that they aren't falling into any very negative space or putting themselves in positions that they're not comfortable to be in. Because I can't imagine, if you really don't like somebody and you really want somebody to be held accountable, constantly feeling that you have to for everyone else. I can't imagine the stress that could cause at times. And I hope everybody who does do that does take some time for themselves and takes breaks. Yeah, I definitely agree. She, in my opinion, it's part of her cycle and her behavior to bait people to continue to have drama. I think some of the stuff that she does intentionally and is calculated because she wants people to continue to talk about her, because it's a part of that vicious wheel. I think a lot of what she engages in intentionally. And I believe that she does a lot of the stuff she does for manipulation reasons. Bye, Wind Whispers. Thank you for being here. Oh, the dogs. I don't know if they're still in here. Come here, Paisley. Well, Paisley looks a mess right now because it's starting to get hot here, and she's a husky, so she sheds. You guys are gonna have to ignore my messy room. Here's one. That's Whiskey. He's my chocolate lab. Paisley. There's Paisley. Paisley. Good girl. And she gave us a little bark. So now she's probably going to talk because she thinks I'm probably getting off of here, which I will here soon. So those are my dogs. If you haven't seen them, I was supposed to do a dog video a long time ago, but I have the clips for it. I just need to sit down and try to clip them together. Maybe I'll work on that this week so you guys can have like a fun extra video. That was going to be something for my members, but I don't have memberships anymore, so Yeah, Suzanne, I really like Suzanne. I watch her content whenever I can. But again, I've been trying my best not to engage in a lot of her content because it's one of those things that it is kind of like the train wreck. Like I fall into it too at times where you see one thing and you're like, did that really happen? And you go look and you're like, oh, okay. And then it ends up leading to another thing and another thing. And I just don't want to go down that path. Such awesome names. So what's funny is both of the dogs that we have now were not planned to be gotten. Paisley, my husband, we had a husky before, but my husband loves huskies. That's the breed of dog that he always wanted to own. So he's a sucker for dogs. And one of the things that I used to do, and we don't do it anymore, but probably for that reason, because of her, we would go to like a pet store that had puppies and we would just play with a puppy just to get it out of the cage for a little while. We'd done that for years. Well, we did that with Paisley and he fell in love with her. So then we ended up getting her. And that's how we got her. We weren't expecting to get a dog. And on the drive home, we were trying to think of a name for her. And we really, every name either one of us was throwing out was like, no, 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 no. And then I thought of the name Paisley because I was thinking the pattern of Paisleys. And he liked it. So she ended up being named Paisley. She is she's a daddy's girl. She loves me, but she would much rather be with him. She prefers any man. If my husband has friends over, she is jumping for glory that there are men in the house. Whiskey, we didn't know what to name him. He was kind of planned. Some of his work buddy had a litter of puppies, and we had lost our lab pit bull mix like a year prior, and that dog was my dog. And I was sad about it. Even though it had been a year, I was still really sad. And we were playing with them and ended up getting one. So we weren't really expecting to have Whiskey. And then we couldn't think of a name. And then we were throwing out like super common dog names and we really didn't like any of them. And then Whiskey was one that we both kind of agreed on. So he's ended up being Whiskey. Hey, without a freaking clue. Hey, how are you? Mowing. I cannot multitask in that sense. The only time I can really have YouTube on in the background if I'm doing something is if I'm doing dishes or if I'm cooking. Other than that, I'm the kind of watcher that actually likes to watch the creator, even if they're just sitting there and talking, because body language to me does give a lot of information about the creator on whether or not they're being genuine, if their emotions are true, how they're behaving, how they're reacting when they're talking about stuff. So I prefer to fully engage in videos that I watch. So I can't like mow the grass or do anything listening to YouTube. Do I listen to music? Yeah, I do. I appreciate you listening though, even if you haven't been able to chat. So does anybody have the dogs need to go out now that I acknowledge them, they want to go outside. Does anybody have any questions, or is there any other YouTube stuff that you guys saw going on that you want to talk about or mention? You had to stop after you were cooking, messing up your cooking. I can understand that. Oh, I appreciate that. You don't trust people who don't react. If your voice and face never change, you aren't telling the truth to me. Even professional reporters react. I mean, some people are just like non-expressive and monotone. And if that's how you are all the time, I'm not going to really question that. But if you're typically really expressive, whether it's with your hands or your face, you know, you can be expressive with more than just your face. And then you're talking about something super serious and you're stone cold, there's absolutely no emotion going on. That's when I'm like, what's going on here? Or if you're overdoing it, if you're overdoing your emotions and things like that. Thank you, Jean, for the super sticker. Eileen, are you, I don't ever know if I say your name right, if it's Eileen or Eileen. Are you still here? I know some people who just get uncomfortable and come off as cold stone when speaking in public. Yeah, some people don't like public speaking. I don't mind. Stuff like that doesn't make me nervous or anything like that. Some creators are only expressive when it comes to their own lives and dead face for everything else. You don't trust that? I mean, I probably wouldn't either, to be honest. You're often lurking in the background. Yeah, when I was still working an office job, I would try my best to say hi, but most of the time I would just be listening to people's chats. You have a lot more to say, but you'll wait for a video to post. I mean, you're welcome to mention your thoughts on whatever, because I don't, other than the one video, I have 2 videos planned. One's a pretty general video, and then one is the video that I mentioned at the beginning of this stream. Other than that, I don't have any videos planned. I'm down a couple of rabbit holes right now, so we'll see how that goes. You've noticed that too, Melissa? Did Aline leave? Oh, you're here, Eileen. Okay, thank you for correcting me. What is the information that you have? And a talkie video. I'll work on it. I have clips from months ago where I was initially going to do a dog video, and I ended up getting stuck because I did want to incorporate the 2 dogs that are no longer with us, and I still probably will. I was going to try and, I was getting ahead of myself, honestly, because I'm not really good at editing. I think you guys know that and see that. And a lot of the stuff I have of my previous dogs are on other devices. Stop. What are you doing? So that it's taken me a while, and then I started to film it in the sense that I wasn't gonna include the 2 who are no longer here, and I didn't like how it turned out. So I'll sit down and figure it out. Our dear friend LRC has passed away earlier this week. She was, oh no. Oh, that's terrible. I remember LRC being in some chats of mine. Well, everybody keep her family and, you know, the sentiments. If you pray for her family. Hopefully, the creators who do know Charlotte and Police Wife Life, hopefully they will release some information that I think should be. I'm sure they'll handle it with care. And if there's any way that the family needs assistance by any means, that we can come together as a community and help with anything that may be lingering for the family. It's very tragic news. And it seems in a tragic way that happened. I'm trying to gather my thoughts. I don't want to get upset. Life is too short, guys. I wasn't really close with that subscriber or person of the community. I really don't know how to relate to them as, but I do know that they would come into my chats and would be very kind and uplifting and positive. The reality is life is short, guys. You got to spread positivity no matter how much we want to criticize and bring awareness to problematic behavior. We have to understand that life is short and you never know when is going to be the last time you interact with somebody, when the last time you have a conversation with somebody, even in real life. So we, as a community, need to understand that although we may give criticism, we always need to make sure and check ourselves that we are not participating in any kind of negativity or toxicity, because you never know. You never know when Whiskey knows I'm upset. You never know what's going to happen the next day. You never know what's going to happen the next second or the next minute. It really is tragic that we've lost somebody, and I'm sure she's not the first person this community lost. And unfortunately, how life goes, she's probably not going to be the last person that we lose, but always try to have a positive impact no matter what. You can give criticism and be respectful and not be hateful and not create a negative surrounding or a toxic place. I hope in her thoughts that we are all able to come together and be a happy and healthy community, because what has happened is this community has fallen apart over the last 6 months, and it's become really hard to be a part of the community, which is a lot of why I chose to stop covering Katie. Aside from the fact that she was affecting me personally, the community has kind of fallen apart, and I hope that this just goes to show to everybody that tomorrow is never promised, and we all should, whether you have differences or not, just put them aside and stop engaging in anything that could perpetuate any kind of negativity. Yeah, for those of you who are wondering about Britt, I didn't ask if I could say anything. You guys know I'm close to Britt. She is okay. When she's comfortable, she will, I'm sure, inform everybody of whatever she wants to provide to you guys. It's not my place. It's not my story to talk about. But she is okay. So those of you who are worried about her, I will definitely let her know that you guys had mentioned her, but she's doing okay. She'll be back. I appreciate you letting us all know. I really do appreciate that. So I don't really feel super comfortable heading off chat, because I know I clearly got upset, and I'm sure others who maybe weren't aware are upset as well. But I don't feel it is appropriate to try and break the mood, because we're people and grief is important. We all handle grief differently. And with the news of losing somebody in the community, if that's hard for you, you're welcome to, as always, reach out to me if you want me to find some resources for you. As I've said before, star 211, if you're in the US, brings you to just a service line where you can tell them what you're looking for and they can help you link to resources. I hope everybody is able to try and have a good day. Give your loved ones a hug and make sure that the people who you appreciate and you care for know that you appreciate and you care for them. And in that sentiment, like, I really hope you guys understand how much I appreciate all of you and how much all of you guys mean to me. I know I'm not the best at relaying those kinds of emotions, but when I say I appreciate you guys and that you guys mean a lot, and most of all of you guys have had some kind of positive impact on my life, I mean that. When I'm sitting here and talking to you guys and reading your comments, even if it's disagreeing with my opinion or what I'm talking about, I still appreciate that. I still genuinely have care for everybody. I don't have hate or malice in my heart for anyone. And I hope you guys all understand that. I hope you guys are able to take a few minutes, send prayers if you pray, if not, good vibes to her family. And I hope you guys, as a community, that if the family needs anything, that we can come together and help them through this very difficult time. I appreciate any super chats that I got and any that I ever have gotten. Ninja Girl, whenever people say that I'm the only creator they have super chatted, I can't tell you how much that touches my heart. I never expect any super chats, and I think you guys know that. I never expect it. And when I see them come through, I probably never come off as though I'm like super, super appreciative, but I really am. Most of you guys know at this point, like, I don't work a 9-to-5 anymore. I have started my business and I finally published the website. So, any help always helps, but it's never expected. And when it does happen, I almost am in utter shock that somebody would send their hard-earned money to me in any way, just because you like what I'm saying, or you like me, or you want to support me. It always is shocking. And I know at times, like, I probably don't seem as appreciative as I really am, but I always appreciate your comments, your likes, even your dislikes. You're watching my videos, even if you're not comfortable commenting. It means so much on so many levels. It really does. So I hope you guys, I have picked off some of my fingernails. It's hard to be vulnerable on camera. It really is. When creators are genuine and vulnerable on camera, it's hard and it's an uncomfortable situation. I always leave mine up because I think it's an important thing for everyone sometimes to understand that we're people too. And even if we're getting upset because of sad news or because of good news or out of frustration, I think it's important for people to see that I'm a person, and I feel that way with everybody and every creator. I feel like at this point I'm just rambling and probably not making any sense, to be honest. So if anybody makes it in the replay this long, I appreciate you guys. I'll probably put a poll up now that I have torn off more fingernails. I'll probably put up a poll in case you guys want a video on my next set. But with all of that being said, as awkward as this exit is, I am going to hop off of here. I will probably see you guys Monday. I still have to think of some poll questions. I'm not sure what kind of questions I will